Hello and welcome to Brodual. This time we have a mod by the name of Morrowloot, the 4th Era Edition. Some of you might be familiar with the original Morrowloot mod, and for anyone who isn't, Morrowloot is a mod that aims to reignite the true feeling of finding rare treasure in the world of Skyrim. As you might imagine, it takes inspiration from Morrowind's item and loot system to make certain pieces of gear more common or rare. The 4th Era Edition is a kickstart to the development of the mod, and it comes with a few changes as well as a new author. One of the basic and main features of Morrowloot is that it removes higher leveled gear from leveled loot lists, and instead places them back as static objects scattered across the entire province. So higher leveled armors like glass, dwarven, orcish and above can no longer be found randomly in chests and in other loot. Instead you can find them hand placed in logical areas. So for example, you'll only be able to find Dwemer equipment in Dwemer ruins and containers. Elven gear can be found in various places, though most are carried by Thalmor. Orcish gear is worn by orcs, and glass gear will be found on a few people from Morrowind, as well as equipped on high ranking personnel from various factions. Ebony gear will be so rare that only few sets of the entire armor will exist in the world, and they'll be worn by nobles and the rich. And finally, the most rare set in the game will be Daedric, and just like in Morrowind, only one full set of the entire armor can be found in Skyrim. So finding a piece of it will be really like finding a true piece of treasure. The mod also adds over 20 artifacts from past games, so things like Chrysamere, Sunder, the Lord's Mail and Goldbrand can be found in Skyrim. Then to top it all off and to keep the hidden loot rare, the original Morrowloot also removed your ability to craft any of the higher tiered equipment. However, that's no longer the case in the 4th Era Edition, and it re-adds your ability to craft everything except for the ultra rare Daedric gear. There's also a few new rules and limitations based on your character's race and smithing skill. You'll now be able to craft your own race's gear once you have the appropriate smithing perk. However, if you came from a different race, then you'll need a higher smithing skill as well as the appropriate perk in order to craft it. So for example, it's assumed that Nords are more familiar with Nordic equipment, so are naturally more able to craft it, but you'll need an extra 20 levels in your smithing tree to craft the other types of gear. On top of that, he also takes notes from the lore surrounding certain gear, and it applies it to the crafting system. So for example, the lore states that ebony gear can only be crafted at the very best forges, so you'll only be able to craft ebony items at the Skyforge. Dwarven gear will also be craftable again, but you'll need the ancient knowledge ability that you get from the Unfathomable Depths quest. The 4th Era Edition also keeps the Dremora merchant useful, and as long as you're of high enough level, you'll be able to purchase the higher level gear from him. So overall, Morrowloot the 4th Era Edition makes higher level gear much more rare, and just like Morrowind, turns pieces of Daedric gear into true pieces of treasure. On top of that, it also reignites your ability to craft higher leveled gear, but places new lore based restrictions to keep loot rare, all while still allowing you to become a master blacksmith and craft your own gear. The hidden items scattered across the world also works well, and you'll really feel like you found something rare, instead of just flipping a coin and hoping for the best when you open a random chest. In terms of compatibility, you shouldn't have too many issues, as long as you place Morrowloot after any crafting or equipment mods in your load order. However, you will have issues with mods that alter the leveled loot lists. The mod also only affects the vanilla gear, so if you're using any higher leveled modded armors, then it pretty much ruins the playstyle the mod wants you to take. However, in the future, Morrowloot's author plans to create patches for the more popular equipment mods, so if that's something you're interested in, then be sure to let the author know. And that's it for this spotlight. Absolutely everything you need can be found down below, and as always, be sure to leave endorsements on any mod you enjoy, and thanks for watching.